Welcome to Tell Us a Story, the podcast dedicated to the stories that connect us through our shared life experiences, as well as the stories that reveal the sometimes stark differences. Only by truly listening to one another can we bridge the gaps that divide us, fostering empathy, respect, and kindness with one another. Pastor David Roberts Sr. demonstrates through his story what it means to him to live a life of responsibility. If you mess up, clean up has been one of his guiding principles as he cares for his family, his faith community, and the community at large. In January of 2024, Pastor Roberts received the Living the Dream Award from the YWCA of Gettysburg and Adams County and the United Way of Adams County. So settle in and listen to Pastor Roberts as he tells us a story.
My name is Pastor David L. Roberts Sr. I'm original from Florida, Dade City, Florida. I moved here in the late 1960, early 70. Moved here for a better life, so to speak. I was raised up in Florida, and my mother, she was 5 years older than my dad. And she was more or less a housewife. Pretty firm, and they were both of them pretty firm, and they didn't allow any drinking and smoking or swearing in the house, and we didn't do that at all. We knew the danger of that. If we drank a beer or wine, anything, it had to be not at the house, no cigarette or nothing, and so I never seen them smoke or drink or swear at all. So they laid it down. So I tell my kids, I say, I raised them up in kids. I said, I know you all have your parties and everything, but I never want to see any of that in my house because I don't do it. So you had to set your standards. So they had standards that we went by, and I appreciate that, they taught us, and everything, because I see so many kids that's really disobedient to the parents and everything. You only get one, especially your mother. And Mom told us she was right there. She couldn't read or write that well, but I know at college, when I was in college, she was write a letter, and it was scribble. You had to try to make it out, but she had $2 in there, and $2 went a long ways, $2. Mama says, I don't have much. She sent $2 in there. See that? And my dad was World War II. In World War II, he learned to fly planes, so he was a pilot more or less. And he would take us flying on Sunday after church. He would take us flying. Those little club planes you see on Route 30 West out there, those type of planes there, used to take us flying there on Sunday there. So we enjoyed that. I met my wife. I met her at school one day. She and her friend was up for a dare, and her friend dared her to pinch me on my butt. And I was sitting in theater at school at theater watching. We were in the lunchroom watching some event going on, and this girl walked in and pinched my butt. I guess I've been following ever since. So everybody thought she was really quiet. So when I tell that story, she's really quiet. She said, yeah, but she started the whole ball running, so they said. Went to college 2 years at the Florida Memorial College. Then after being in there 2 years, I was dating my wife during that time. We was courting, and of course, things happened in between, and had a little son on the way. So my parents didn't know nothing about it. So anyway, I had to lay the books aside and get a job. I had my grandfather told me one thing, I'd never forget it. He said, son, if you mess up, clean up. And that stood with me for the longest. And when those 2 years I got ready to go back to my third year in college, when I had messed up, my wife, she was my girlfriend, and she said, David said, I'm pregnant. I said, oh my goodness. So like I tell you, stated earlier, the books went one way, And I went with, I went and got a job, not Joe, a job. The job opportunities around there was, they had a lot of orange grove, and I didn't want to. My dad raised us up during our spare time to go out and pick oranges and everything like that. And I've heard the apples was twice as light. So we have the sack that be on your back, and you go up and down the ladder on the tree, and you do that, and we made our money like that, 8 of us, in the family like that, and Dad would have us go out, the girls and the boys, and that's how we made our extra money and everything. Whenever we found out that she was pregnant, I said, well, I messed up, I'm going to clean up. So I said, we're going to journey north. And my uncle was coming this way. He was up on the season too. So I had spoken to him. My father didn't want us to leave at all. And so I decided, I said, well, if I'm going to be a man, it's not time to be a man, because I was just turned 21. And so I decided I'm going to journey here. And I wanted my kids to grow up with other kids. And one thing about in Florida, you had a white community and blacks, and everybody knew their place. It was more or less predominant blacks. Well, 99% of the school I went to was black. And the only time I experienced a white person being in school was back in '69 when we had one white girl that was in the college there. I noticed she was there, and that was in my sophomore year, and I noticed that, So, but anyway, I just wanted to, just bring everybody together, and so I said, well, we'll raise our kids up, and if my dad really stressed education, and so cause he made sure that we went to school. No excuse, because we lived right near the school, so we had to go to school. So he was big on education. We all finished school, and then my sisters, they went to college. I got one sister graduated from Bethune-Cookman College. She's a teacher now. She retired. Things like that. My older brother, he went to Vietnam, and he and I went to college together. He didn't go the entire 4 years at all either. So, but as far as growing up in Florida, it was nice for that short period of time. It was nice, but it just wasn't, as far as earning a living, it wasn't there. The wages wasn't there at all. And I knew I needed, make some money, other than sitting there. So I always heard you make more money in the north than the south, so I wanted to go. And during that time, it was a great migration trend back in the late '60s and early '70s. Most of our cousins was up in Ohio. They had the plants up there, and they had the steel mills in Pittsburgh, and so things were booming back there. So most everybody down south migrated to north, and I didn't want to just stick around and pick oranges, and everything. Like, if you worked in the store, you was bagging, you was a bagger, you wasn't a cashier, So that was my reason for. So when I came up here, it was a great opportunity, and so we decided to venture here to raise our kids here, with the intentions of going back there, which never materialized. We've been here now 54 years now. My wife and I have been married this coming March. I'll be 54 years, but we dated 5 years. And in the process, we had 5 kids, but we lost a daughter. One daughter passed away at a young age. She was only like 5 months. But, we got through it through the helps of the friends and loved ones. It was a rare situation. She developed a bubble around her heart, and she went away right quick. They died in my wife's arms. So we got through it, and were able to get through it many years ago. But we're getting through it. So, but I have 3 sons and 1 daughter. They are stretched out within the area. Got one in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. My second oldest one. The oldest one lived in Sumter, South Carolina. He's an engineer. And my daughter, she's a professor at St. Mary's College in Frederick. My youngest son has been in the military for 22 plus years. He's in Louisiana, in the Air Force there. So he and his family resides there. Gettysburg has become a home for me because it was a blessing, both financially and spiritually. I was able to raise my kids and give them a good education. I worked for the migrant program, Community Action Service, years ago, 1970, and that program was federally funded. And Gene Odom, Cassie Nutter, different ones that was in the area. We worked at a community action agency, and I was on more or less the outreach program. And after the 3rd year, we weren't able to get funding, so I had to resort to another job. So I went to P.H. Gladfellow's in Spring Grove, where I worked there for 8 years, but that was 7 days a week mandatory. But I had this was before my ministry here. So I had to feed my family, so I believe in honest living. So I worked 7 days a week for 8 years. And I found out it wasn't anything that I really wanted to, because I didn't have time with my family. I had the money, but that's when I found out money wasn't everything, but I didn't have time with my family. I put in for a job at Schindler Elevator, and I was there for 13 years there. And I got a series of layoffs there. I got caught up in three layoffs there. I started working for Sites, David Sites, Sites Realty, as a maintenance supervisor, and they called me, Schindler, to come back, and I had to make a choice, and I made a decision. So Sites said he wasn't able to pay me what I was making at Schindler Elevator, but at least I would have a job and I would work up to that point, which I did. So I stayed there until right now. So, over the years, I was able to buy my home and everything. My kids got the education. All 3 of them got the masters. I'm pretty well pleased. Our kids, they're raising their kids now. And I told them when I was raising them up, I said, only thing I want to do one day when you all have your family is I want to stop by and get some chicken and probably something to drink and be on my way, So far, Lord has blessed me too. Yeah, I said, I don't want to get in your business and everything. I said, all I want to do is come by and visit the grandkids, and me and the wife go back home, So I try to stay out of their business and everything, let them raise their kids. And I say, I want you to show me one thing. Show me where we went wrong. Show me where I went wrong, So I had my youngest son, come to me one day. He said, Dad, I kind of wonder how you and Mom made it. So you worked 25 years before Mama even started working. And you was a sole provider for us and everything, because I worked 2 jobs. I pruned apple trees, picked apples on the side. And he said, how do you do it? I said, me and my wife, we working, and we can just only make ends meet and everything. I said, come here, son. And I rolled my knees and my pants leg up. I said, see these calluses on my knee? I said, a lot of times you're over in the living room playing with your play toys. I was on my knees, Lord bless me, where the next meal going to come from? Because we was never on welfare, because I often taught my kids that you bring kids in the world, you're to support them, not this agency. If you're able, you have the health and strength. Don't depend on the agency. You go out and make it yourself, because you brought the babies in the world, and it's up to you to take care of. Cause my dad always told a rule of thumb. He said, son, always learn the scale. Learn the scale from A to Z. He said, learn how to work in the office, learn how to clean toilets, If you got a family and everything, you don't have to go out and steal, because you know how to improvise, you know how to work the scale. So you learn to work the scale. So I learned to do all kind of job, plumbing job, I know a little electrical job, you name it. I worked in the office a while, computer for a while, and then, like I say, I was just, before you came, cleaning toilets. So it doesn't bother me, you know. So it helps out, you know. So we learn the skills. So it put food on your table, and it's an honest living. Never been to jail. So Dad said, he raised 8 of us. I used to wonder, he said, you'll ever get in jail for stealing it, don't look for me. You're going to stay right in there. Because I didn't teach you all to steal. So it was 8 of us. I used to wonder why he used to say that. And I used to come home every so often. He'd get up in church and say, my son David is here. And he said, one thing I can say about my 8 kids, never have me and my wife ever had to get up late at night to go to the jail to bail them and those out. And I didn't think the seriousness of it. And then I was telling my wife not too long ago, I said, you know what? I said, we raised 4 kids and never had we had to go to the jail to get them out. Never had we had to get them out of drugs or nothing like that. So we're blessed. So I never knew the seriousness of that. I got into the ministry. My father was a pastor years ago, and I never wanted to, I always went to church because I was forced to go to church. And parents, back in the day, they always say, if you live in this house, you're going to have to go to church under my rules. So I went to church because I was forced to go to church. I never knew that I was going to be part of the ministry. I didn't want, and there was 8 siblings. I have 5 sisters and 3 of us boys, and I'm the only one that's a pastor with that out of the 81. But it wasn't by choice. It was by a calling that was on my life. That was soon after I left Florida in 1970 that I was in church, and I received my calling into the ministry. Was ordained after 15 years being on the deacon board here at this present church here, this first church. When I moved to Florida, this is the first church I came, and I worked in here more or less just attending church, raising my family in church, because church was a part of our raising up, bringing up. So I started raising my kids here, wife and I started attending church, and never knowing that I was going to someday to be the pastor. But 15 years I labored as a deacon, which was just lifting up offering, working around the church, more in the yard, helping out and praying over the offering. So I didn't know that later on it was going to be my calling. So, and I got my calling one night, and I knew it was my calling. And a lot of people had been saying that the Lord was using me, but I hadn't gotten the confirmation and didn't want the confirmation. All I would just wanted to do was just raise my kids up in church, and that's all, and go home and everything. But since it was so, I answered my calling, and I was later ordained. But it was about 25 years I've been ordained, and started working around different areas within the community. And the church here at Amos Tabernacle, here it needed a lot of work. When I first came here, we had an outdoor toilet out back, and no indoor plumbing at all. Later on, I went to the township meeting and asked for, can we get a permit to get water out here, because we didn't have no running water at all. So we got plumbing, we got water out, and then we was able to put on add an addition on to get our restroom, men and women restrooms. So we got that added onto our church, and so I sat on different ministries, different pastors over the years, being deacon, had people over me. Of course, I was deacon. And then when I got my calling, the bishop appointed me. One of the pastors passed away overnight in his sleep. And then one of the elders recommended me and then I was ordained and to pastor the church with no knowledge of pastoring, but I had a love for the people and concerns, so I started pastoring here and been here ever since. And we began to see a little growth, different things. The floors needed repaired, so we had new floors put in. But it was a work that money which we didn't have, we had to really like fundraise and build up through having different services and so forth like that. Like I say, a lot of money came out of my own pocket, because like I say, I'm not salary. It's not salary, just a few members. And right now we only have a congregation about 30 that's really on the books, but as far as showing up on Sunday, may have about 20 plus out of the 30, so forth. You know, and it's, you know, church work I found out is a prayed out work, and it's up and down situation. So during the process, you know, we was able to carry on and really being consistent. So since COVID had hit, we kind of lost some members, I thought, but the Lord had instructed me as far as having online services. That's why I started having online conference call, and I started at about 3.5 going on 4 years now. So we have like each Sunday morning from 9 to 10, 1 hour, we have a 1 hour Bible study online. And then we come here to the physical location here at church here at the building at 12 o'clock, 12 to about 1:30. And then I'm right back online again Sunday evening at 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock. And then on Tuesday night, we have a service online from 7 to 8 Bible study. During that process, I have gained my family in Florida, my siblings in Florida. They are on, and different other people from different parts of the world that's on, and that's on that line. So sometimes we have like 30 people online, especially on Tuesday night, Sunday evening. And as a platform service, I usually give speakers opportunity to go forth, you know, whether it be ministers or whether it just be lay people. They have a word they want to talk about the Lord, and they've been saved, they're dedicated and rededicated their lives to the Lord. I allow them to go forth in about 15 minutes, and you know, because somebody gave me a chance, I was given a chance. So it's really been rewarding, and the congregation I serve and the other community I have developed fellowship with the churches in the area, and we're a multicultural congregation, and our fellowship with multicultural, you know, ones that are around. It doesn't matter, God, people doesn't have a color, you know, we're just all one. And so we have a choir here. I play guitar and piano, so I didn't know anything about music at first. That's one thing the Lord blessed me to play, because we had a piano in our house in Florida. And I would pass by and close it down. My dad played piano, and my sister played piano, but music, it wasn't for me. But when I started pastoring the church, I noticed we didn't have no music. We didn't have no musician or nothing at all. So I asked the Lord, I said, if you teach me to play, I will give it back to the congregation. So as a result of that, the Lord blessed me to play, and I give it back. I enjoy playing, and I guess they enjoy hearing it. I haven't got We have a choir, and we sang at Gettysburg Recreation Park there every year, and we do community, you know, service like that, whatever we can do as far as helping out and so. And we sing the old time spiritual gospel songs, and you know, it's I'm sort of kind of getting into the traditional song, but it's something unique about gospel singing. You know, it's kind of like kind of fading out in certain parts of the area, but I plan to keep it in the Gettysburg area. As far as I will look at my priorities in life. You know, I know there's one scripture say, seek first the kingdom of God and all His righteousness, all these other things will be added unto you. I think getting our priorities straight in life, is what it's all about. Sometimes people they deal a whole life is built around how much you can accumulate in life. The success, a nice most kids you talk to when they finish school, they say they want a nice job, a nice home, a nice automobile, and a lot of time they may get one of those out of life, or they might not get any of those goals at all. But first you seek happiness in the Lord. You can only find the peace through Christ, knowing Christ Jesus. So the best thing is if you can lay down and get a good night's sleep in times like these. That means the whole money can't touch that, So you have a peace of mind, and you can do that in knowing Christ. He give you that inner peace, that you have the inner peace, and you can conquer any mountains, or you can go forth. And a lot of time over the years, me and the wife didn't have the money or nothing like that, but we had each other, and we was able to go through and persevere. If you got one another, you got love and everything. 'Cause back then, I know to my grandfather, they didn't have money or anything like that, but they said my grandfather used to own a store back in Florida, and people would go there and say, "Grandpa, can I get a loaf of bread till Friday?" And he said, "You sure you're gonna pay me Friday?" "Yeah, I'll give you my word." He said, "Remember, your word is your bond," and they would shake on that. And if that person didn't pay and everything, he put an X by the name, So, so still nowadays your word means a whole lot, and keeping that, in line, keeping your priorities in line. So if you don't have any money or anything, your word, you got some people that still go by your word, and say, "You know what, that person will pay, and know what, I knew his father." See that? So it goes a long ways, And they're having a good name established around. People remember that. It makes a difference, And I found that out to be true.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to Pastor Robert's story. To learn more about the Living the Dream Award, please see the show notes. Please also review the show notes for more information about this podcast or visit us at tellusastory.info.